Hello, guys. Doing Hebrews 12 today. Let's begin. Wherefore, seeing we also are compassed about with so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight, and the sin which doth so easily beset us, and let us run with patience the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and is set down at the right hand of the throne of God. For consider him that endured such contradiction of sinners against himself, lest ye be wearied and faint in your minds. Ye have not resisted unto the blood, striving against sin. Isn't that interesting right there? We have not resisted the blood, striving against sin. Right? And ye have forgotten the exhortation which speaketh unto you as children. My son, despise not thou the chastening of the Lord, nor faint when thou art rebuked of him. For whom the Lord loveth, he chasteneth, and scourgeth every son whom he receiveth. Right? And obviously, this is not a earthly kind of scourging. It's not an earthly kind of chastening. It's not an earthly kind of rebuking. No, it's all for the purpose of instruction, right? God's not coming down and punishing us when we sin, right? Or when we do something bad or wrong or erroneous. No, he trains us, right? He trains us in the faith, right? Let's continue. If ye endure chastening, God dealeth with you as with sons. For what son is he whom the Father chasteneth not? But if ye be without chastisement, whereof all are partakers, then are ye bastards and not sons. Furthermore, we have concerning this, there are some people who continuously reject that chastening, right? That correction from God, that training. They're not believers, though. They're antichrists like Ray Comfort, John MacArthur, people like that, right? Those who reject the blood, who count it as an unholy thing, right? They're antichrists. They're bastards. They're not sons. Let's continue. Furthermore, we have had fathers of our flesh which corrected us, and we gave them reverence. Shall we not much rather be in subjection unto the Father of spirits and live? Right? In other words, shall we not just heed God, right? And what he says and live? For they verily for a few days chastened us after their own pleasure. But he for our profit, right? When earthly fathers chasten, right? It's for their own pleasure, right? Their own pride, right? God is it's for our own profit, right? For our own good, that we might be partakers of his holiness, right? And how do we partake of God's holiness? Is it by quote unquote not living in sin? No, it's by the faith. It's always been by the faith, right? Now, no chastening for the present seemeth to be joyous, but grievous. Nevertheless, afterward it yieldeth the peaceable fruit of righteousness unto them which are exercised thereby. Wherefore, lift up the hands which hang down, and the feeble knees, and make straight paths for your feet, lest that which is lame be turned out of the way, but let it rather be healed. Follow peace with all men, and holiness, without which no man shall see the Lord, right? And who is our holiness? It's Christ, right? He's also our peace, right? Looking diligently, lest any man fail of the grace of God, lest any root of bitterness springing up trouble you, and thereby many be defiled. Lest there be any fornicator or profane person, as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright, right? And this is like a spiritual fornication, right? That he's talking about here. Remember what was in chapter 9 and 10, right? Remember what that sin is, right? It's that unbelief, right? It's going back to the law. It's a mixture, right? Married to Moses, or claiming to be married to Christ, but going back and whoring around with Moses, right? That's fornication. It's adultery too. And you're selling your birthright, right? What's the profit in that? What's the profit in the law for you, right? And as we know from Romans, uh, the law is a schoolmaster, but when faith is come, right, we're no longer under the schoolmaster, right? This is all important for the Christian life. For ye know how that afterward, when he would have inherited the blessing, he was rejected, for he found no place of repentance, right? He didn't change his mind, though he sought it carefully with tears, right? He was filled with quote unquote sorrow and grieving. Oh, Father, I'm sorry that I sinned, that kind of thing. Right? He didn't actually go to his father, Esau, didn't go to his father as a son, right? He went to him as a slave, right? And that's the deceitfulness of sin, right? It makes us think wrongly of God, right? And Paul is making a comparison here with Esau. For ye are not come unto the mount that might be touched, and that burned with fire, nor unto blackness, and darkness, and tempest, and the sound of a trumpet, and the voice of words, which voice they had heard entreated that the word should not be spoken to them any more. Right? Speaking about Mount Sinai, where those that were freed from Egypt were cowering in fear and fleeing, and telling Moses to tell God to shut up because his voice was loud and scary. Right? It's that Adam conscience, right? Hiding from God. For they could not endure that which was commanded. And if so much as a beast touch the mountain, it shall be stoned, or thrust through with a dart. And so terrible was the sight that Moses said, I exceedingly fear and quake. But ye are come unto Mount Sion, and unto the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem, and to an innumerable company of angels, to the general assembly and church of the firstborn, which are written in heaven, and to God, the judge of all, and to the spirits of just men made perfect, right? Perfect by Christ, of course, and to Jesus, the mediator of the new covenant, and to the blood of sprinkling, that speaketh better things than that of Abel, right? Remember, Abel was a prophet, the first prophet that we at least see, right? See that ye refuse not him that speaketh. For if they escape not who refused him that spake on the earth, much more shall we not escape, if we turn away from him that speaketh from heaven, whose voice then shook the earth. But now he hath promised, saying, Yet once more I shake not the earth only, but also heaven. And this word, yet once more, signifieth the removing of those things that are shaken, as of the things that are made, that those things which cannot be shaken may remain. Wherefore, we, receiving a kingdom which cannot be moved, let us have grace, whereby we may serve God acceptably with reverence and godly fear. Right? That terror that the Israelites or the Hebrews fresh out of Egypt felt, that terror, that was not a godly fear, right? For our God is a consuming fire.